Network. Bring back that beat, DJ Licious.
Wilkes went out.
Oh my God, he's gonna lose his shit. He is going
Five alarm
to
fire.
lose his shit. So let's go ahead and put out a parental warning right now.
Right.
The kids ain't in bed yet. You better put them away because this is not going to be ugly here. I mean, pretty in a second.
It's going to get nasty. All right, welcome to the Fourcast. It's three of us right now. Wilkes should be coming on here in just a minute. We review movies, films, documentaries a completely different way, 4 different perspectives every Monday at the same time, 8:30.
Right on.
Real quick, breaking news, Iowa advanced to their second straight Final Four. They beat LSU. Surprising to some, not surprising to others. Caitlin Clark with 41 points. I mean, she's been showing what she can do and been showing that she's a top player in college basketball. So 9 threes on the day. Also, real quick before we get into it, rest in peace to Vontae Davis, former NFL player, brother of Vernon Davis. So that was kind of shocking news that came across.
Yeah, at 35 years old.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure we're gonna hear some CTE because he was doing some erratic stuff before his career was over with. Hey, sorry to hear that, and prayers to his family. All right, let's Golden in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. So tonight, man, Chalo, Casanova de Ghetto speaking.
Wow,
Oh my God!
You must have just watched that. Yeah, damn.
Nah, man, that's been in my head. I used to do that on Wayne Brothers all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Marlon used to do that.
Not that funny.
Come on. We're not starting up the show like that, are we?
Not that funny. I'm just being controversial. Living my life like it's golden. What's up, Golden?
All right, so tonight we're reviewing Shirley. It's available on Netflix. Came out a couple weeks ago about Shirley Chisholm, and this is, I think, very well done. As we get into some initial thoughts, directed by John Riley or Ridley. I think it's John Ridley.
John Ridley.
But Doc, I'm gonna go to you first. Initial thoughts and plot.
I'm gonna get a plot first. Because maybe there'll be some positivity there. In 1972, the first ever Black Congresswoman, Shirley Chisholm, launched a trailblazing campaign to become the President of the United States. A 2-line, really a 1-sentence, 3-line plot. Thank you, Netflix. It was released March 15th, 2024. Again, as being said, John Ridley was the director, distributed by Netflix. Netflix, it had Regina King in it, the great Lance Reddick. If you ain't up on Lance Reddick, that dude is, I mean, solid.
Rest in peace to him.
Yeah. Terrence Howard, say man, and he didn't say man.
I was waiting on it, man. I was waiting on him to say it, but now he didn't do it.
And a few others. So, initial thoughts, I'll save it.
You'll save it, okay.
I'll wait till Wilkes come back and just see what he
explode. Okay. A-Trap.
My initial thoughts were, y'all know how I feel about
biopics.
I think
it should be a series,
yeah.
But it is a point of entry for Shirley Chisholm. If you don't know who she is, this will help you identify who she is. She was a great person, and she's a great woman. She inspired dozens of women, and even you saw her even inspire a sister who's a member of the House of Representatives out of Philadelphia.
Yep.
It was a
Barbara Lee.
Yeah, she's currently, and I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed it, and Shirley is a forgotten member of Black history. She is not saluted enough. You know, we do the Rosa Parks, we do the Coretta Scotts, Coretta Scott Kings, we do the what's my sister's name? What's the sister's name? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I think her name right now. Fenton Lou Hamer. We salute them, but Shirley is almost overlooked. So her contribution to Black history is paramount. And I think, you know, again, it's a great entry point. So I enjoyed it.
Let me just say this too. We got to be careful because again, my review tonight. Let me just gonna give you this disclaimer: is separate from my feelings about Shirley Chisholm. They're separate from my feelings about Regina King. They are only about the quality of this movie. I will give comments about Shirley Chisholm, who she was, and what I think she did, and how she changed the landscape. But that is completely separate from me from who she was. Now, one of the first things that me and my fiance pointed out, because we watched it together, trying to be like Ben. I told her, if you think something,
That's a good idea.
if you think something, let me know, because it gives us, you know, we can have 5 or 6 or 7 perspectives, right?
Yeah. You want to finish your comment before we bring Wilkes on?
Yeah, let me finish because you're gonna blow it up. And we both all said at about the same time. Why didn't they do a backstory on her? Because it's because of what H-Rap said. In other words, they just dumped into the, you know, they didn't talk much about where she came from, her upbringing, anything like that. So it immediately gave H-Rap a point when he talks about his biopics, is that a couple of hours ain't enough, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, I think there should have been some more background that would have added some more intrigue. You know, I really felt, I kid you not, we had to pause the movie at about 13 minutes in, and I said, did I accidentally fast forward this too far?
Yeah.
Because this can't be the beginning of the movie. She goes, I was thinking the same thing. Where the backstory? Maybe they're gonna revert back, you know, because they just started right at she got Congress. And
so I think what people don't realize, and because I read a lot of the reviews, and they were like, "Well, they didn't give a backstory." This movie was about her presidential campaign. It was not about her backstory at all. I think people thought it was a biopic. It really wasn't. It was about her run for president, and that was it.
Obviously,
yeah.
And I think that was.
It's funny that you say that. Remember a while back, we had the conversation, and all you three guys and most people in the chat room at the time, they truly enjoyed Ali. And I was like, I want, you know, Will Smith.
Ali.
Yeah. That's why I don't like that movie. That's the very reason I don't like that movie, because it's like you get nothing about Ali in that movie. You just found out about his struggles in regards to being reinstated.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because you know what I guess that is then, H-Rap, again, to your point again. It's because we know about Ali. Most of us know about Ali. Most of us don't know Shirley Chisholm. I got news for you. And I'm embarrassed to say this, but I didn't know she was an American.
Yeah, I knew that.
You know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I would have loved that. And again, I'm sad to say, but it's to H-Rap's point. We don't give her enough love, and that's one of the things that I came out of this with on a real life deal, is that's a miscarriage of justice not to give her the love that she deserves, right? Because that trailblazing is the word they described in the plot, and it's a worthy word to use in this situation. But because we don't know much about her, give us something.
Yeah, and I think a lot of I had to do more research on the end and the beginning of this because it didn't give you that backstory, and I think that wasn't really the plan. The plan wasn't to know everything about Shirley Chisholm. It was just for you to know what her run as president was, because it started. It didn't even say how she got into Congress. They didn't talk about that part at all. That's immediately where it kicked off. So I think we got to change our perspective, because it wasn't. But Wilkes, initial thoughts.
Oh, Blue Streak Freak is calling me out. Go ahead, Wilkes. You all right? First of all, We tried to give some time here because we thought we were gonna have to discontinue the show for about 6 weeks. When you dropped off, I'm like, okay, this is over.
Yeah, no, you got it. You got it. I'm glad you guys kept talking because I was about to lose my shit. But I think I'm calm now. Shirley Chisholm, man, gosh, I don't know anything about this lady. I never heard of this lady when I was growing up. And I told Ben today, the only image that I have of this woman is that in history class, there's a photo on one of the chapters, and she's at a rally, obviously, but that was it. They just like, oh, well, here's Shirley Chisholm, blah, blah, blah. And then it moved on to another section of politics and the civil rights movement and stuff like that. I have to honestly say, this was new for me. So even though, yes, it did leave out some things that I wanted to know, a backstory, because I felt like they just hit the fast track with like 1968, 71, 72. And that was it. It was just like, nothing else really became of that. But yeah, I wanted more. And to, again, the HRAP's point, they're not going to give you, hell, it could have been a 6-part episode or 8-part at least.
Series.
They're just not going to give you that, that information that you're looking for. I had to read up on her. I didn't know much about her because, like I said, they brushed over her when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Unless people thought it was a failed cause where it's like, man, we lost Dr. Martin Luther King, we lost Medgar Evers, we lost Malcolm X. Now maybe we can grab on to her. Well, she didn't become president, so let's move on.
Yeah, but I think it's a lesson in forgiveness. I think it's a lesson in intestinal fortitude. I think I think there's a lot of meat there, and
absolutely.
She's been on to obviously some success, in her time in politics. So I think, unfortunately, our view on what success is tainted sometimes, and she even said it in the film, right? That, we still can do some good things here, even though we didn't reach the pinnacle.
I think, to Doc's point, I think she, and I heard the word trailblazing. I definitely think she opened the door for things that are being used today. I mean, and I will say this, I told my wife, she was watching it with me. The second time I'd heard about this lady is when Hillary started running. Hillary brought her up, and other people brought her up. And I was like, man, I don't know much about this woman. I mean, because it was just a figure that was just touch and go. So yeah, I liked it. I'm curious to know if they're going to do it. Now that they've done this, will they do another documentary? Will they do anything else about her? Or will she just go back to?
And it would probably have to be somebody else. This would probably be a good HBO thing where it's multiple parts, more of a documentary style. And this was more.
Because she had a lot more interactions with the people than they showed in this. I mean, she had tons of I guess engagements, to show up and speak, and people wanted her to come out. But this was new for me. I enjoyed it. I mean, I was kind of in between. I was like, man, she's got an accent and she doesn't have an accent, and her husband's got an accent. I was just like, wait a minute, I was kind of in and out on that one.
Yeah.
Who was the protege that served for her, HRAP, that he ended up going on to do better things than Shirley in some eyes in her time? And
I can't think of his name right now because I'm getting old.
The female,
Barbara Lee.
Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is, like I said, she's a congressman person in Pennsylvania right now. She's killing it. She's never stopped.
And so I think the end was that she made her mark, even though she didn't get there. She made a mark and she opened the door because she was the only woman from when they took that picture, and the only Black, period. So,
but you got to realize this, man. In 1972, women had just got the right to get a credit card, and a bank account in their own name. You had to have your husband or father with you in 1971.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
But
realize the world we living in
it's completely
at
different.
that point. So
Yeah.
when you look at this film, that's why biopics are at this point, in my opinion, are foolish. A joint like this is a great entry point, and then you'll research, and then you'll find out who this woman was. But it's just like you cannot put 70 some odd years, 50 some odd years
In
into
an hour.
90 minutes, 90
Yeah.
to 120 minutes of film and expect people to get an in-depth
and especially like I said, with a woman that I don't know much about. I mean, they did not speak about her from the history classes I took. I mean, I don't even know. Gosh, I don't know. I've never heard anybody like college level talk about her. I mean, and I've had government honors class, and I don't know if even politics, if they talk about it. But
no, this ties into some points that I make on a regular basis, just hanging out with friends. And when you talk about, like, let's just make something as nominal as the sports world, they always go, this guy, we've never seen anything like this. And then if you're old enough, you'll go, yes, I did. Just like they told the biggest lie in the history of the world 4 years. They were telling the biggest lie in the history of the world 4 years ago today. Yeah, and I do mean 4 years ago today. I'm not saying they started it, but they were saying it 4 years ago today. Kamala Harris is the first Black woman to run for president. Lie.
Right.
Lie.
She's not. Yeah.
And I think also doing some research on her, and then we'll get to the chat here. But when she was done with Congress, she was looking to get a role as a president of a school. But because of everything that her stance on a lot of things, they either passed on her or they shamed her to where she didn't get a position, and she ended up getting a position later on as a professor. So I think a lot of the reason why we don't know a lot about her is because they made sure we don't know a lot about her. So there had to be someone to come at this point, to make this type of film. So let's see. We got let me get to the chat. We got OC Overton Claiborne. Thank you for tuning in. Talking with OC. We got Golden says, I love Regina King. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Been in the game for a minute. Blue Streak in the building. Good evening. I really enjoyed this movie. Regina did an awesome job. All right, here's a question for one of the four of us. Fiance? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
Uh-oh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Curls for the girls, waves for the babes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Blue Streak. You ain't the only one can have a partner in life. Sometime. Stay tuned.
She said, congrats.
Thank you.
Nice.
Hey, Wilkes.
Hey, how's it going?
Wanga in the building. I haven't seen Wanga in a minute. Hopefully you're doing well.
Hear from you.
The younger
Blue Streak Freak and tell him I might be off the hook for making chocolate cake now. You got a fiance in the house.
No, you ain't off the hook for that. Don't worry about that.
What's up, the greatest?
Parents, man?
Huh? Yeah, I talked to him.
Oh, okay.
Well, and here they are right here. Thank y'all for tuning in.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Please comment in the chat if you have experiences or you have any stories about Shirley Chisholm. Please do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Adding additional backstory might have made people lose interest. I think it made people not want to do research on her. I think it covered everything it needed to cover, in my opinion. And she said, made people want to do research on her. Well, I mean, it worked for me.
That's what
Keisha,
she texted me about that. We had a conversation about the show, about the movie.
Yeah.
She's watching. She's in there, man. She's in there.
All right. So immediately they start this thing, and it says she is the first Black woman in Congress. They were trying to put her over agricultural, and I think for her, she didn't. Yeah. Just like the Black mom or Black grandma, whoever, she didn't take no mess from any of these white boys.
Oh
So
no.
that is another reason why we don't have a whole bunch of Shirley Chisholm films, is because she
Right.
went against the norm, and she didn't care. She wasn't, you know,
And she's like, who I need to talk to.
right, exactly. And she does what you can't talk to him. He's the Speaker of the House. She's like, damn.
Shit.
Right. She didn't care. That's another drop, man. That's another drop we need.
Yeah.
From him specifically too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so talk to that, Doc. Any comments you have on her and just who she was and
Yeah.
how Regina played her as in this role?
Well, I mean, I think Regina King is, again, a fantastic actress. In terms of it, can I tell you if she played Shirley Chisholm's role well? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Shirley Chisholm. I hadn't seen enough about her to know that.
Yeah.
Was her accent any good? It could have been horrible. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
I just I don't know. There were times where I thought that's horrible accent, but I could be completely wrong. But yeah, I think the fact that she was who she was curtailed a lot of coverage that she would have gotten. I'm surprised that Wilkes said he actually saw her in the textbook.
I did, yeah. I'll never forget it.
They even mentioned her, because guess what? We don't know what we don't know. Right. Yeah. So think about little Johnny. Well, I can't say Johnny, that ain't no. Let's think about little Davion in 3rd grade. You know I'm right, A-Trap. Don't shake your head. You know I'm right. Think about little Davion. We don't know what he's missing. He don't know what they're not telling him. We wide-eyed, man. We are, we are sponges at that point. We soaking up and we think everything that they're telling us is gravy. We thinking that giving us the deal. They giving us the game. And we ain't at the house, as a parent, I wasn't at the house double checking on whether you get enough Black history in your history book.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to survive and raise a young family and not get the lights shut off and shit. So yeah, it's disheartening to say the least. But I unfortunately and I don't want to go watch a movie that makes me want to go research people. Makes me need to go research somebody.
I didn't know.
I want one that makes me want to go research one because it was so fascinating and interesting. But I don't want to need to because I don't know nothing about them. And so when they do what they call these focus panels, or I can't remember the exact term for,
or city town hall.
No, these focus panels. These focus groups. That's what it's called. When they do focus groups, maybe they should have focus grouped this one, to a certain extent, and ask that question. A lot of films will do that early on, and some great films have become Oscar. They went from on the trash heap to Oscar worthy after a focus group, because the focus group said, in fact, Officer and a Gentleman is one of them, because the romantic scene between Tom Cruise and Kelly Gillis's character wasn't enough. So their budget was done, and they filmed on the back of a building on the set of Paramount Studios. One scene, it's just a back porch back there because they had no more money left. One romantic scene that was supposed to be a Saturday morning after they had knocked boots, and that pushed that movie over the top in terms of what the focus groups are for it. So again, do a focus group. Maybe you'll have people like me and Wilk saying, "Hey, we need some more background in this one." Who knows?
Yeah. That's why, like I said, I told Ben, and I repeat this again, I will never forget that image because that's the only image I saw of her. I don't know anything else. I didn't know she had an accent. I don't know much about
I've never heard her talk.
I never heard. Yeah, it's like
the only thing I know, kind of like Wilkes, is like a side picture of her. I don't even remember where I've seen it, but
she looks like she needs to be on a nickel or some shit, don't she?
Maybe the 6-cent piece. We'll give it a 3-cent piece.
Oh God.
The look, from what I remember of Shirley looking, they got the look down. But that's makeup, that's wardrobe, that's casting. That I still don't know if she did a good job, and that's where we have to come from. The average viewer, do they know? I don't think so.
And then A-Trap, you actually said this, I think, a couple weeks ago, that she was from Barbados, and so but she was born in New York, and then she, from like 5 to 9, she lived in Barbados and she came back. So I don't know, the accent could have been could have been kind of back and forth because she spent some time in both places.
Oh, sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was, as you were saying that, I was just thinking. Also, too, why did she wear the wigs? Her hair was fine. I don't know why she had. I mean, I get that wigs were the thing then.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wigs were sacred. Like, you don't touch my wig. You don't talk about. But her hair looks fine, like as it was. I didn't understand why what were the wigs about? But I don't know.
And maybe it was just she wanted, like, maybe a uniform look where it was consistent every day. Because I mean, she had to be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, her look had to be perfect. Now, whatever she said what she said.
Yeah.
And let's correct something in terms of where she served. She actually served originally California's 9th congressional district, where she served until, this is Barbara Lee, not Shirley Chisholm. Because remember we asked about her earlier, and she served originally California's 9th congressional district, where she served until 2013. Then she served in the 13th district to 2023, and now she's representing the 12th district. Just as of last year, she's representing the 12th district. So Barbara Lee, we may have said something incorrect a little earlier, so I wanted to look up who she was. But it's like, in sports, A-Trap talked about sports a little earlier. We'll talk about the coaching tree of the great coach, like Bill Belichick is talk about frequently, because ain't none of his coaches doing nothing. They ain't winning nothing, right?
Yeah.
But we talk about some great coaches that come under a guy, Bill Parcells and some other people. Well, Shirley Chisholm's coaching tree
is vast.
Just with Barbara Lee alone,
right?
Is a
Go ahead.
No, I said he was talking, and I said it's vast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I had heard Shirley Chisholm speak, the late Shirley Chisholm speak a few times, and when I was watching this, and then I'm listening to you guys speak, I'm going, man, this is one of the benefits of living in a totally segregated city, to whereas everybody to your left and everybody to your right looks like you, because at William E. Gladstone Elementary School, Shirley Chisholm was on the wall.
Oh,
and
wow.
every class I've ever been in, Shirley Chisholm was on the wall.
You didn't get that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm sitting there going, wow, this is one of the perks of going to an all-black high school, all-black elementary school in William E. Gladstone, and all-black.
We got more of a watered down. By the time me and Wilkes was in school, they watered it down. Yeah, they made it seem like
black
it was
history
just Martin and Malcolm. That was it.
Yeah, for us it was Malcolm, Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver.
George Washington Carver was George Washington Carver.
Eli Whitney.
He almost got more play than Dr. King and Malcolm in our school.
That's what I'm saying. It was so watered down by the time I was getting that Black history. I'm like, Medgar Evers was never mentioned. You had to learn about him like afterwards. But then again, we're in Texas, so they're gonna push that Texas history. Yeah,
and that's the thing, man. We got a lot of that. We you know what? Like you guys, this is the funny thing. You guys like we didn't get that much. Yeah. We had an all-black academic situation. You got it so much, you were almost tired of it. It was like, oh, man.
It's funny. To H-Rap's point, my wife said last week, growing up in Atlanta, she went to schools that did Black history on other people. And then when she went to like art school in like Washington, she's like, y'all didn't take Black history? What do you mean you did? She's like, yeah, we didn't. She was like,
you were almost sick of it.
It was crazy.
You realize how important it was, but they beat that down your throat. You was like, yeah, I know, man.
We didn't get that. I mean, like I said, we got Black history, and like I said, they were always. Oh, of course, let me back up. Abraham Lincoln was always the letterhead.
He was nowhere near William B. Gladstone.
And then it would go Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and that was really kind of it.
Harriet Tubman. They had a little bit of Harriet Tubman in there. It was like, we won't try to know about running. Yeah.
Rosa.
Malcolm.
Rosa was up
Parks was in there. Frederick Douglass.
Fannie Lou Hamer. We
didn't get Fannie Lou. We didn't get no.
The
only Fannie Lou we got is the lady that worked at the Link stand on First Street. Shit.
The lady that worked at the cafeteria.
Yeah, man, you got it all, man.
What you have?
She had plenty of candy, I'm sure.
I can remember back as far as first grade, Miss Bradley had, it was in alphabetical order. These people like Shirley Chisholm, Bill Cosby, Fannie Lou Hamer, Marcus
We
Starr.
had,
You didn't have Malcolm X though. You didn't get no Malcolm. You didn't get no Malcolm.
Craft's point, Black History Month, when we were in the history class, like I said, we'd have George Washington Carver, we'd have Martin Luther King Jr., we'd have Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, but I mean, we want. That's why I said Shirley Chisholm. Nah, man, I never heard. That's what I said. I never
February the 28th at 3:35, when school was over with, all of that came down.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that was up. That was up in September.
Man, I don't remember.
I'm telling you, first grade, Miss Bradley class. I remember it, Jack.
What's up? What's up, Big Illy in the building? He said, we have a young lady here in the great state of Illinois.
Miss
First
Hayward.
Black mayor of Dalton, Illinois. The first female to reenact the New Jack City pit bull scene in a town meeting. She did that?
Yes, she did. She was
Wow.
she the first Black female that's about to go to the Fed joint. Is
that the one that they're saying was stealing money and going on trips and
but she beat that case. She beat 26 separate cases. But they on her behind like pockets, Jack. They on
her. She was on the wall. She was on our wall too. Says,
she was out there, man.
It was a dope movie. Okay. I like where you're going.
He said it would be a dope movie.
Oh, it would be a dope. I thought he said it was a dope movie.
Oh, he's talking about Miss Hayward. She about 33. She going hard, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. We knew old SC in Mississippi.
Shirley.
You could just put Shirley. Well, you got to move abbreviation.
You confused the hell out of you, obviously.
Yeah, Shirley ain't long on the type, man.
God.
Screw you for a loop.
Man,
I was thinking
we didn't even go to the same school. It was they like when you go to them Black schools, they being in February down there in the it was already super Black. You go to Atlanta in February.
Our history, our history and Black history. I mean, like I said, we definitely had Texas history, definitely had world history, but like I said, when it came to Black history, the figureheads were Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver, Malcolm X, was Eli Whitney, W.E. Du Bois. We never what? Who's that?
We knew about the boys.
Like Medgar Evers. Who's that? Like what? Nah, move on. We didn't get that.
And then see, it's easier in Chicago to do the Black history thing. Chicago was founded by a Black dude, John Baptiste DuSable. So that was the jam. It's like, hey,
I can imagine.
I say, good day, mate. John Baptiste DuBois.
Good day, Mike.
Haitian, man. Haitian.
Mike.
Put him as an Aborigine.
I agree with you. Keisha. I don't remember talking about Juneteenth at all. And
I think high school, I vaguely remember a little something.
And maybe I didn't
hear about Juneteenth until
I say one page. Yeah. I mean one page. That included the half-page photograph.
That's why I always encourage. Keisha will text me with information about our show, and she's watching. And I'm like, I'm learning like you learning. I'm like, you're gonna have to watch it because I don't know what's going on. But Keisha's always ready with the information and always asking questions. So shout out to the fifth Beatle.
I miss her when she was K-Rap, man. I really did. That was a good time in the history of the Fourcast. If you tell our story, you can't tell it. You can't tell it without the fact of K-Rap. Back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, we profess
stank on you. That's some stank on you.
Yeah, one page is all we got.
All I get is one mic.
Yeah. Now her main kind of
What
mission and
One name. You gotta know that movie, Cooks. You gotta know that movie. McLovin.
No.
One name.
Oh,
One name.
the funny thing is, I have a McLovin shirt.
That's
He
hard.
said, "What are you?" He
You
said, "What are you
ninja.
steal?"
What is this?
What are you
What's up,
steal?
dude? My friend to this day calls me McLovin because I had that shirt.
Yeah.
That shirt was hot.
I'm gonna have to wear it to work.
Yeah. Just wear it tomorrow. Just
Oh, we have to
put a collar shirt underneath it.
disrupt some people.
Yeah. So the student coordinator Robert
Nickel fits.
that she met on a campus, I'm assuming somewhere. Her main focus was going towards which I thought this was a very interesting part of this. This was the first year that 18-year-olds could vote, and so she knew like that's my base, and that's immediately what she ran to. So I think she had initially a good game plan, and then she was gaining some traction, but obviously money was an issue. What type of team you have? There was infighting, there was disagreements, but I felt like that was a great point. A-Trap, the first year 18-year-olds could vote, and kind of talk about that piece of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, the 70s. See. I'm not gonna really focus. My comment won't be focused on that in particular. It will encompass that though. The 70s is a period in history that people who oppress working class people, and they create deception and things of that nature. The 70s and the 40s seem to never be spoken about in United States history. You ever notice that? That's when Black people were creating all these businesses, and they were creating an infrastructure to whereas we could reign supreme. In the 70s was a point in life where you got women's liberation in full swing. You got young people standing up, fighting, for their rights and things of that nature. So when you talk about the 70s, it seems to be a left out period in history simply because if you start talking about that, it'll reignite young people and then the rich and powerful who continue to inject discrimination, bigotry, and hate into the lexicon of the public.
Yeah. When I watched this, of course, with Doc, but definitely with H-Rap, I was like, man, some of the political information that's in here, I'm just wondering how H-Rap is processing that. Because I know all this is, in his wheelhouse. And of course, when they talked about a few bills, but not many, a few laws, but even the segregation situation.
I'm just a bill. Wrong capital.
Okay. Conjunction function, schoolhouse rock.
Yeah, but Ben, I think about your time period though. The biggest comment that I came away from that and what represents who she was and where the country was when she said, "White boys love me."
Yeah,
young white boy, like them young college white dudes who were,
she knew her base. She knew her base.
Yeah,
but her base ended up not being enough, really.
Yeah, but I thought that was super interesting and accurate as I remember it. And there's a lot of films that we watched that you see the young white college student supporting Black civil rights.
Rustin.
Right.
Y'all remember Rustin? His
oh yeah, that's right.
His
boy,
side piece.
Say it.
It was really a side piece. That wasn't his boyfriend.
Come on, Cletus.
Come on. But so 1972, January 23rd, 1972, she made the announcement. And coming up to that, people were like, "Are you running for what president? President of what?" I mean, it was a lot of we don't believe you, and we'll and then Terrence Howard, which interesting part of the story, y'all seen it at the end that she ended up marrying. I kind of figured that was gonna happen. I thought they was getting it in before that, but
after they divorced, I
thought they was the way he touched her arm. It was like
no besmirching of the Chisholm name, bro.
Huh?
I had to use that word. I've been waiting to use that word all week.
Oh, because I was gonna say they sure gave us that indication.
Yeah, man, no besmirching. No besmirching.
Yeah, 10 months after. your divorce. So and the way they treated what's his name? Conrad Chisholm, her husband. What y'all think about how he looked in the film?
Shit, I thought it was Martin Luther King for a minute. I was confused.
Well, if he looks spot on. But he looks spot on like him though. If you look up Conrad Chisholm, he looked exactly
I'm
like
talking about how they portrayed him, like how I mean, damn, they're subservient is what they made him look like. Like he was,
he kind of looked like Marcus Garvey.
I'm not shit how he looked, man. I'm talking about how they portrayed him, man. The hell with the boy look. Yeah,
I mean, he said he said his piece though. I mean, it wasn't like he was.
Yeah, one time. I mean, what's so
it was a couple times. That time that she almost got sad and she was like, "Where was you?"
He even said it. You're gonna pretend. Go ahead and bring Wilkes in right away. He even said, "You're gonna pretend to care what I think." He said it. And so for me, why that's an interesting fact because didn't y'all pick up an accent from him too?
Yeah, he was from the island.
So if he's from the island men, from what I understand, they ain't rocking like that typically.
No. But see, this is why Spike Lee had that fight with Warner Brothers about creating the Malcolm X movie, because and Denzel Washington even spoke about it. Asked Denzel Washington why was it so important for Spike Lee to do this movie. He said because when you look at Francis Ford Coppola, he doing The Godfather, he didn't know the nuances. Black director would have known the nuances in this, and they would have, as you stated, Doc, they wouldn't have made this dude such a panty waist or henpecked. Or even if he was a panty waist and henpecked, what they would have done is presented him as a man. You know,
John really is black. John really directed and so
he got a white name. Shit. Will.
Well, okay. Well, that's the case. I didn't know that John really was a brother. Well, he failed then, and then I'm gonna go with Doc. He failed miserably representing this man, because you can support your woman to the utmost. You can give her all the power that she needs to be as powerful as she can be, but you don't have to look like a wimp.
Yeah,
that's what they put him out there.
Yeah, Wilkes, how'd you see it? Because I saw that maybe you didn't hear while you were gone. I said Conrad Chisholm, her husband. They had him look super soft, man, and I ain't really like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
it's accurate. It could be accurate. I don't know, but I didn't like that.
Well, first of all, to your point, all the island men or foreign men, especially from those countries, no, they ain't taking that shit. She ain't running for no president. I don't care how fly that mouth is. Sit your ass down and listen, ho. So it's like one of those things where it's just like, I mean, it was kind of like, why is he such a people? Thank you, my people. My name, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Man, that girl in the back really chuckling.
She's sitting on the front row. She like our humor. You just have
she on the front row, man. She with it. Yeah. Her boyfriend about to walk out. But anyway, yeah. No, I was, it was like every time he turned around, but he was calling her out. He's like, "Oh, it's not like you really want my whatever, or you really don't," because he knew. I think she was, honestly, I think she was driven by the fact that I need to prove men wrong. I definitely need to prove white men wrong. But unfortunately, in that aspect, I think her husband was a casualty in that, because he was just like, man, you're forgetting about, home and other things that were established. So yeah, there were points where I felt like it was just like, okay, you're over security, take the back seat, take pictures and whatever else. But yeah, they definitely had him a little soft in this one. They definitely had him like kind of just really, like I said, they're taking the back seat.
Yeah, and the checkbook scene, where he, he's talking about it's my money, yelling at him this, no, you the one who told me to quit my job for a minute and do this. Right. Now you're gonna throw money in my face,
man. That's what I'm saying. Like, you gonna hold me hostage?
Letting his ass hold the checkbook, so that's why he came and gave it to her and the pen.
Like, hey, I tell you
And
what,
I think what this showed though too is the tension between a husband and a wife. Whoever's running for office, it's gonna be tension because your attention is not on your household. Now they didn't have kids, and she never had kids. That was an interesting point.
Tell the man why dinner ain't ready when you got to the house.
Yeah, I was like, was the roles reversed?
Yeah, they were. It was like, oh, you can get it's a TV dinner in there. Go ahead and grab your soda water out of there.
Like number one, when he woke up, he said you were late, so that means he didn't know when you were gonna come home in the first place. That was Terrence Howard was probably smashing the reason why your ass was late in the first place. And then you're gonna come in and ask me if I ain't got supper ready.
Terrence Howard hustling. But yeah, I mean, even when she got off the plane, you could tell she was disgusted, like he wasn't there to pick her up. You can think when she got off the plane, she was shaking her head. And then she had to ride in that taxi. And when she got home, she like, nigga, you ain't got no shit cooked. I want some grits. You ain't got no damn ham going on. I need some fried ham, some pork chop. I gotta warm some shit.
Said fried ham.
I ain't messing with y'all, man.
Man,
further besmirch me.
Better get that hungry man out the freezer.
Yeah, but that was, that didn't sit well with me. I'm just gonna say.
She didn't want that Nighthawk dinner. She wasn't with that. I want this Salisbury steak. I want this
hungry man in the 70s, Jack.
Yeah, man, hungry man XL. She don't want this shit. Still out of here, man.
Keisha said Conrad should have had a damn supper prepared. Got it in some foil in the oven.
Not in the oven.
Maybe Conrad wasn't. Well, I guess maybe he did cook. She
Conrad was
like
asleep.
he knew how to cook.
He was too busy watching Island Honey's Part 2.
Did you hit that loud track twice? That loud track.
I love it.
Yeah, but
married with children.
Yeah, I'm sure he could cook. You know, a lot of island men do, but
yeah,
you know, you ain't gonna do us like that though, man.
Nah, man. She woke up like, what the? And she was looking at him like, damn, nigga, you serious? You ain't got nothing to cook?
Yeah.
He was like, wait a minute, woman, hold on.
I don't know. It probably wasn't that night. If you talking about Conrad, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think
Conrad took his ass to bed after that. The way she was looking.
She was really looking at it like she was upset. Like, you didn't cook nothing?
Yeah, you better get your ass and eat a bologna sandwich and some chips and get out of my face.
Man, call it a night. I'm going to bed.
She was going like this, like who is that meme that be everywhere where the guy got a cigarette in his hand and he going like
Makai Fife.
Yeah.
She was going like this.
Yeah, you better get that Miracle Whip and rub it on that bread. Get on my face. Yeah.
Now, so one of the other pieces I liked about this is it showed her, her human side. She liked McDonald's and a strawberry shake, and when she was eating, she didn't want to be bothered. And Terrence, I thought Terrence Howard was the head of security because he seemed like the person like, look, this.
He was the head of security. He was securing that coach. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. Yeah. He was head of security, all right.
I could have bet my life he was going to say that. I say one of them is going to say security.
Yeah, he was security.
Hey, she wasn't putting him in no full Nelson. She was a lot smaller than him.
Man. Yeah. He was putting security, head of security, yeah.
Now a whole nother person I didn't know anything about was George Wallace. Did any of y'all know anything about George Wallace?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Racist human beings in the history of the world.
Man,
I cheered when he got popped.
You can't talk about Dixiecrats without this guy coming up.
Yeah.
You can't talk about how hard he was on segregation.
Yeah.
And then, and if you get a chance, Ben, if you want, there is actually a 60 Minutes interview with him, which, of course, now he, unfortunately, I've befriended Black people, now that I'm on my deathbed. Yeah. But then again, like, hey, watch the interview if you want. But yeah, George Wallace, notorious.
Did he really turn? Did he really change his?
Allegedly,
he did.
I mean, he started rolling with the. switch sides of the force. He was at the after Darth Vader
Yeah,
got
he started becoming a spokesman.
hanging out
He
with,
started supporting, and even after that, which they mentioned in the movie, he became a friend of Shirley Chisholm.
Yeah.
So
got reelected
yeah,
a few times in Bama.
if you get a chance to watch it, there is a 60
how
minute.
Lance Reddick reacted to her saying she gonna go see him in the hospital. Shit,
Yeah.
they hated him.
Oh yeah. They said he was a bona fide racist.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
but
they say his Amazon account was full of white sheets had been ordered.
In his Amazon account.
You
he
mean
had that green water.
You mean his
Montgomery
Sears account?
Ward.
His Sears account? Yeah.
Same thing. Shit.
Montgomery Ward,
His Montgomery Ward account.
Back.
Yeah.
Take it on back. Yeah.
His finger hut account.
Finger Hut.
His Columbia House account was.
Nah, being that's music, man. Damn, everybody else was close, but your shit was way out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. George Wallace. Oh, he's notorious. I mean, anytime you talk about segregation, hell, he even coined the phrase segregation today, segregation tomorrow. That was his coined phrase.
That was his tagline.
George Wallace's name is synonymous with racism. I mean, it's like when you think racism, that's one of the names you. I mean, if on Family Feud,
name of an elected official that was a racist.
That would be one of the questions. That might be the number one answer. George Wallace.
George Wallace was
top 3 at least.
You're not talking about the comedian in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You talking about that, George?
Yeah, we tag teaming it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, co-producers.
All right. So the whole battle between them two, he ended up getting shots. She went to go visit him. Nobody agreed with that. She went by herself because nobody was going with her on that one. They would have finished the job.
Dave Chappelle, gotcha, bitch.
Hey, that was perfect right there.
Yeah, that white girl like us.
Man, she really liking that, man. Jenny really full of them jokes, man.
Yeah.
So they basically gave you a track to the DNC, and they said weeks, months, days. That was kind of the
Democratic National Convention, for those of you who may not know.
DNC.
But they were really focusing in on that particular date. Now, upcoming to that, they
talking about Run DNC. We talking about the Democratic National Convention.
She ended up meeting with this guy right here.
For you, considering I just tied two of your biggest things together, rap and politics, by calling it Run DNC. That's what we need to get, a hip hop political man.
Hey,
Run DNC.
It'll work. It'll work.
So this guy Walter Fontenoy was that's
Walter
one of the guys she met with. He looked slimy. He looked like
he did.
He looked like one of the brothers. He looked like one of the brothers from the Whispers.
He looked like
Arnold
Jackson as a grown man.
He looked like I'm gonna spend your money and I'm gonna spend it on your girl.
Andre Holland, who played him, this is a perfect character role for him.
Oh yeah,
he plays this role well. He's played it in other movies. Yeah, he plays the creep very, very well.
Yeah, and Paid in Full. Wasn't that him in Paid in Full when he came in the house? And that wasn't.
Now you talking? I can't think his name. That's a dude from Snowfall. I don't know his name though. He was in Paid in Full.
The one that robbed him at the end. I thought that was
That's not him.
That's not him.
Kermit, dude. They was calling him Kermit. Shit, you Kermit the Frog looking dude. That's the dude you talking about, right?
Yeah.
They popped him at the end.
And this, I think, her inexperience. I mean, she was in Congress, but her inexperience in this type of level definitely hurt her because she didn't know. She was trying to navigate it the best she could. The guy that was on her campaign, he was pissed off after like week 2. He was like, "I'm tired of y'all niggas." He was done. He was done. So he ended up walking out, or she fired him. So that was, I think the unexperience affected her because she didn't know
Or
she was
inexperienced,
navigating.
however you want to go
Yeah,
coin that, you know,
You
either
know
way.
what's sad? It's 50 years later, 52 years after this happened, and we're still struggling with the same deception, the same,
Right,
same
right.
backhanded. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
The
and
Ron Dellums that smile on your face, say, I'm right here for you. And then he going through the door. Yeah.
So, but because she didn't even hate on the dude that turned on the last biggest guy that
Yeah.
turned on with the delegates. She respected it, you know, and I think that may have propelled her to be as good as she was in the Senate, right? Because she respected that. Okay, that's all in the game. She's like, that's what it is, you know. He got me, you know.
And she she had to learn this. Yeah.
That's right. So, and she even gave him some props. And they said in the thing at the end that they actually became friends and worked on some stuff together going forward. You can't do that if you don't have a good perspective behind that. He got you, you know.
Right. So limited support. You know, she was meeting with her sister, which we didn't really know when they first introduced. I mean, you assumed that was a family member, but you didn't know who that was.
Thank you. See, now you're supporting me and Wilk's point about the fact.
I agree with that point. You didn't know who she was until eventually. I mean, it was her sister. Eventually, when they kind of sat down,
and they don't even talk about why she's. I mean, when they sit down at the table, but
they said you were dad's favorite. You know, didn't necessarily say exactly why or anything, but
yeah. Did y'all peep the Sanford and Son playing in the background? I don't remember what scene that was. I think she was it at the sister's house?
At first I thought she was. They made it seem like she was calling Red Fox for endorsement. The way they tied that in together, but I don't think that was true. They just made it seem like, because they asked about like endorsements, and then all of a sudden that Fred Sanford and Son.
No, the Sanford and Son started in '72. That's why they flashed it.
Okay.
Yeah, they just made.
I mean, she needed support. She had.
Yep. Speaking of endorsement supports, I think that was a stroke of genius by Barbara Lee to bring in the Black Panther.
Yeah. And they met at Diane Carroll's house. I didn't know that. That was another thing I learned. I feel like
that was new for me too.
Moment right there.
They never talked. See, we have so many people that were advocates and activists for the community, but
old school Black Hollywood did a lot more than you think for politicians, and
that's exactly what my point was.
They just kept it hush hush, probably because they would have got blackballed from their roles.
Absolutely. Now you fucking with my money. Don't mess with my money.
Yeah. Even she said, I bought this house off of Julia. Was it? Yeah, Julia. And she was like, you know, this is how I got it, and I think that they definitely didn't want to mess the money up.
Oh yeah, but I'm still gonna be crazy about my people. You're not gonna keep kicking me in my teeth, you know, that kind of thing. But
that goes back to the very beginning. Once upon a time ago, we did One Night in Miami, and Malcolm X was talking to
Cook.
Yeah, Sam Cooke, and really trying to get him to change what he. Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely goes deep, and I agree. They left a lot of information out, even in this film of who was who. But yeah, I still like the way it was done. But she had no support from her family. You got no support from your family. You and your husband already got tension. He not up to the part where you think he should be. And then you got infighting in your own camp. So, you know, this you're fighting against all odds at the end of the day.
Now that's why she wanted Conrad to bring her meals, because Terrence Howard, who played Arthur Hardwick Jr., Black ass, was bringing her meals from McDonald's to the DoorDash. He was making sure she eat. And and will beat a nigga ass if you come try to open the door while she eats. She eating her
because he was all about
somewhere.
I mean, she eating lunch. She eating. I'm like, man, bro, calm down, man.
That's why Conrad had to have supper ready, because Terrence Howard was setting this damn unrealistic standard.
Yeah, because Arthur over here clapping cheeks on the trail. I'm like, man, she on trail cheeks.
Her fries ain't getting cut.
Yeah, let me get that strawberry shake and clap these cheeks. You know, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what is that?
You got claps and boos on that one, man. Claps and boos.
Hey, I mean, man was
laughing at. She liked it.
That's all right. She good. Yeah, she okay. Yeah, because Terrence Howard, He was like, man, she eating lunch. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, bro.
Get out of here, man.
But she needed that moment for Barbara Lee to come in there and really, she felt like she was talking out of turn, but she took it to heart though.
Yeah, and I thought that part was authentic where she kept calling her little girl. I wouldn't be surprised if
Right.
Barbara
Oh yeah. Hey, you
didn't
better,
help
little girl, you better be quiet.
Regina King is who I think she is. I wouldn't be surprised if on her own she didn't reach out to some Barbara Lee types, and try to get some stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, how they met was she was walking around shaking hands, and she came up to her, and the scene was they were talking. You know what they were talking about, but she felt like she wanted. I need to talk to you for a minute, and that's when they end up sitting over to the side and kind of getting her viewpoint. And she was like, "I don't vote." It was like, "Well, you can't. If you really want to make a difference, you can't be militant, but you're not participating."
Right. Active.
Right.
Active. Yeah.
I think it was. I mean, like to Doc's point. I mean, I think Regina King played that role very well, and I feel like Regina King is probably sharp enough that she wants every ounce of detail and information that she can weave and has woven into anything she's directed or starred in. To this day, they do not want Watchmen to continue because when she did the Watchmen,
to this day,
Fantastic.
to this day, Perry Tyler, man.
Yeah, to this day, baby. Yeah, but I mean, it's still. I mean, if you haven't watched it, the listeners out there, if nobody's seen it, it's a good one with Regina King. It's awesome. But I think she's on to something, and it's good to see her doing Shirley because I hope she, will do more. Even though the way The Harder They Fall ended.
I'm glad you kept talking, Wills, because it made me look at Regina King in a different way. Think about the people we've been talking about over the years: Mahershala Ali, Denzel's son, John David Washington, and trying to determine who's the next, Denzel or the next whatever. Well, Regina King may be the female version of that. Who's the
absolutely.
next? She's been the next. We honest, she's been the next for years.
The funny thing
a decade almost, you could say.
The funny thing is that I discredit Regina because when I was, growing up and watching 227. What happened? Oh,
we disagreeing with you. 227.
You just said 227. Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw her in 227, it's kind of like, oh, big deal for her. But then after that, when you go back and watch, she's always been involved. She's always been in movies. But now that I think that she's stepping into directorial roles, producer roles, I think now she's in a different lane. But when I go back and I look at, because somebody I think it was her or BET on Instagram had posted her roles. She has been here. She hasn't disappeared.
Yeah,
she didn't take a break. She didn't go. She's always been present.
She's one of those Lifetime Achievement Award people in my estimation. Like she needs to be recognized that way at some point. I mean, because you think about The Harder They Fall, and like you said, The Watchmen, and even in was it Friday? The first Friday?
Friday, Poetic Justice. I mean,
she's man.
She's all over the board.
And when you think about this particular film, her son passed away, and this was the first film after her son passed away. And there was even an interview she was talking about. She didn't even know she wanted to act anymore. So I think there was this was a perfect role for her. A lot of meaning in this.
Ray,
for her, for her to come back.
Ray. I was about to say she's always been there. I think it's just
she hadn't had a lot of lead roles though like this. She's always been the supporting actress or the in the film, but this was, I think, one of the that I can remember. One of the lead roles besides probably The Harder They Fall.
Even then, she was a supporting actress. Yeah, because that was my man who was getting chased by the white girl. What was her name? Jonathan Majors. That was Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. That's why I hated the review we missed with Kelly Rowland, because that was a Jonathan Majors movie.
Oh, he was supposed to be in it?
No. Jonathan Majors movie.
Nice alley-oop, Wilkes. Nice alley-oop.
Hey, no problem. I missed it. Yeah.
So one other point I wanted to get to, the networks. I mean, the way she went about it, she was definitely trying to get her time on TV. She ended up winning the appeal. She ended up getting 30 minutes and in the debates. Now they didn't really show any of the debates because I think they even missed that part of it too. But they ended up showing that a little bit of the segment she had.
That
Go
30
ahead,
interview, yeah.
Something else they left out of this conference that they had in Gary, Indiana, that she said she wasn't going to go to. She actually went to and killed it.
Mm.
You know,
I felt like that would have,
it's a
that
lot
would
of people
have
at
the
that
story
conference.
better. With the story being focused on the presidential campaign, showing some or like clips of the debate would have been good to get that sense. Man, I'm coming more and more over to y'all side now.
I think it shows her in level of intelligence in a different perspective, right? Because she wasn't this long time political figure, yet she still has some success in that arena because intelligence, emotional intelligence, right? Social awareness helps you. Being, in fact, when I think about it, I think about how we are at the Stars, right? One of the things the coaches in the their media personnel or their what is it called, their public relations, right, communications team, is that our perspective is different because we're not old school hockey heads. We're looking at it from a pure sporting strategic standpoint, and our point of view is different, but it's still valid, you know. In fact, in a lot of ways it's preferred because you see the game in a new fresh way instead of this old, like, in other words, when some of the other, you know, longtime beat writers are looking at it, they're looking at it from the way hockey should be played.
X's and O's. That's it.
Yeah, we're looking at it from a standpoint of that's a great strategy, you know. So
And
anyway,
it's refreshing. It's refreshing to them.
yeah, so I think she was a lot like that, like, you know, her intelligence and her, see, some people have natural resourcefulness, right? It's like as soon as you present a problem, they're resourceful enough in their head to where they immediately think of a solution, you know, or they think solutions, you know, to the problem. And I think she was one of those who, you know, that's why she still said, went to Reddick, will you still advise me? Yeah, I know I'm not taking your suggestions some of the time, but I still value your advice. And it's hard for people to understand that. I need all the information. I'm gonna make the decision, and sometimes I may not go the direction you tell me to go, you know. But
I still need you though.
I still respect your input, you know. It's valuable, you know. So I like that aspect of who Shirley is, right? You know, if I can assume that that's probably pretty accurate.
Now, has this ever been done again? That's the question to you guys. Suing the networks. So we talking about ABC, NBC, and
I'm sure it has.
CBS.
I'm sure
It may not be to this, and it may be have done again since this, and it may be done again because of this. You know, in other words, some people, you know, because you know, networks and stuff like that gonna try to get by with it, especially with the way political affiliations are. And I'm willing to bet to cover their asses, the way they invite the other candidates is probably shady. Like they probably send out. Well, we mailed the letter, offering them the time, knowing in 2024, don't nobody mail no damn letters to invite that kind of stuff. You follow what I'm saying? Well, we send them a letter, so now we send it certified.
Right. We did our part. We took it to the address next to you, but we did our part.
You know, the funny thing is, even when, you know, probably H-Rap and to Doc's point, and especially Doc having a commander in chief being in the military, before this, I never heard about anybody being sued. I never heard about Reagan being sued, never heard about Bush being sued, never heard about the second Bush or Bill Clinton. Now all of a sudden you see it, somebody showing.
We've got Bush.
Yeah.
Name that movie.
Between two bushes.
So into the nerds.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. But it's just one of those things where all of a sudden Obama comes along, Obama's being sued. Biden comes along, Biden's being sued. Trump comes along, Trump's being sued. I never heard of that. So to Doc's point, I'm sure, you know, major networks are trying to be, you know, they're drug into court probably daily. I mean,
it's just not put out there.
Yeah, it's so minuscule. It's on a level of, okay, this is stupid, throw it out. Oh, okay, well they won. It claims court.
Well, I'm sure Clayton Powell's son kind of did away with the event that they will be sued. He lowered the FCC status in 1992. This is what allowed Rupert Murdoch to become the super billionaire that he is. Because at one point you couldn't own the Dallas or the Chicago Sun-Times, then you couldn't own WGN and own a radio station in the same area. Now you can push your thing when Clayton Powell's, I wanted to call him Adam Clayton Powell, but Clayton Powell's son, Lord FCC standards in '92. It made it a wild, wild west, and then media outlets,
Fox TV, radio.
Yeah. Now you can just put anything you want out. That's why Fox was able to get sued, and then in court they literally said we're not a news organization. We just use the word news for that purpose.
Yeah, we're just entertainment.
Yeah,
right.
But people follow him like it's news, and
because most people don't know about that suit because now you got people like not Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos owning the Washington Post. So I control what you hear and what you see.
Even Elon and X,
Elon and X. Well, Elon and X, he opened X wide open, man. It's like 1 billion bots on there. Like now, if I get something I know it's gonna be some press.
That might explain the viewership we've been getting lately.
I don't think we know the half of what's happening with that.
Oh yeah, we don't. I don't think we
that's a whole different conversation. I mean, it's funny because even I see it on Instagram, but even with X, it's one of those you make a comment on something, and here comes a bot or an account that appears to be real, and they have a comment. And they think they're on point, but it's just to get you talking to this bot, and that bot is taking information. It's weird.
Yeah, because I think Musk took over X because Facebook is almost like a Black Planet on steroids, right?
Yeah.
Twitter or X, whichever one you want to refer to it, people used to exchange genuine information, much like they're upset with TikTok now. You would get genuine information. You can literally talk to the Puff Daddies of the world. Of course, he wouldn't be on there talking, but you can talk you can talk to them, and they would talk back to you.
Yeah, so, it's probably Meek Mill talking to you, but anyway.
Oh my God, you're horrible for that.
Talk to him, mate.
So I believe that's why they dummied it down, because it was too much issue. Like the celebrity guests that I've had on my program, I got them from X.
Yeah. And once you could tell, they changed it now. But once they had that message box, you knew that their inbox was open. Now I don't even know how it works, really.
It's the same. It's the same
way. Okay.
It's the same, but it's just. It's the wild, wild west. You can say what you want to say. Hate speech has gone up 35%. Nudity has gone up about 80%. So it's just the wild, wild west now, and they are, for lack of a better term, Facebook glycing it.
Wow. I used to live uptown, 129th Street. Let's rate this and put this in the proper trash bin that it's supposed to be in.
Yes.
Real quick, before you do that, we got to talk about, and A-Trap, I'm gonna come to you, and whoever else want to comment. Meeting with Huey, which I felt like was big for her campaign, but it was also big, I think, for Black culture. Period. But talk about that. I know you got the tie to the Black.
I was digging that, man. I was digging that the Huey P. Newton scene. I like the way she checked him. She chin checked him.
Right,
because he was like, "You gonna do this as a third grade teacher?" She was like, "Yeah," and I like the way Regina and Calvin Ridley, is that his name? John Ridley, Calvin
Ridley, the football player.
Yeah, so I know Ridley was a football player. Yeah. Well, this is how her and Ridley celebrated Black women in American history. It was dope. I appreciate it.
But they did say it, what was Harriet? And she said, what was Harriet? What was Rosa? A domestic? So yes, a school teacher can do XYZ. And what is it actually that you do for a living?
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that
she came back. She came back right at him. So
good.
she was not. It didn't
That
matter who you was.
bitch,
Yeah.
high and tight.
Wow.
All right. So we could take a quick break. Then we get back. We're gonna do the rating and the final thoughts. Here's what we're reviewing next week.
Every generation has a moment where they come just to have some fun.
Atlanta is the mecca for black people in America.
It has multiple historically black colleges.
In the 80s,
We said, let's plan a picnic during spring break.
let's call it Freaknik.
Freaknik was the greatest black gathering in America.
It was like an entry point into the black cultural experience.
To be able to be in the middle of the street, dancing, laughing, playing your music, it's a moment. The interstate, the highway, was a street party.
There wasn't even a word called twerking. It was called booty shaking.
They wasn't no social media, barely had internet.
During Freaknik, stars start coming in. You would see Tupac, Goody Mob, Outkast, Usher Raymond.
I'm having a ball out here.
I don't know what heaven looks like, but this seems like a version of it.
You was lit, okay?
The legacy of Freaknik is black joy, black self-determination,
Black love, black excellence, black enterprise.
but the legacy of Freaknik is also the ugly side.
It started to get a lot more out of control. People were coming by the masses.
What the hell just happened? If you tried to bring back Freaknik, it wouldn't be what it was.
The streets, the people, the debauchery.
Things that I saw, insane.
We had no inclination to the depth that we were creating.
Them kids ain't know nothing about Freaknik.
Trust me, your mom and daddy got down.
All right. Coming up next week.
Well,
I love the song that they are advertising played in the trailer too. I think that signifies the time so perfectly, man. It's not even fun.
Right.
One of those head boppers. You can't play that at the club and not everybody want to get on the floor, man. It's it changes the molecules in your DNA and make them rearrange and want to shake something.
What's good? Appreciate you for tuning in. I may be I sound like CJ. I don't know if that's you, CJ, but all right, final thoughts. Mike rating Shirley, available on Netflix. We're gonna go to A-Trap first.
I think it was very good for what it was. You know, it's a great entry point. I give it a 3.5. 3.5. It's a very good movie.
Okay. All right, Doc.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Let's start first with the reviews out there. IMDb gave it 6.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 71%, Metacritic 57%, and Google 73%. So they're right in the same neighborhood as A-Trap. I'm just a little lower. You know, I didn't think we would be this close. Oh, A-Trap, let's ask you this first. Did you start at a 3.5 before the show today? And did you stay at a 3.5? Okay. I started at a 3 and I stayed at a 3. That's where I'm at. I thought it was just an average film. Again, I didn't want to get caught up into my fascination for the history of it. You know what I'm saying? And again, no slights, no shade to Regina King, but yeah, at 3 is all I can go
with. Yeah. All right, Wilkes.
Actually, I'm gonna give it a 3. I was hoping, I mean, even when it started, I was just hoping, like, you know, it was gonna give me some more, which, man, maybe I'm foolish for that, but I was really just hoping for a little bit more backstory because, like I said, I didn't know much about. Hell, I'm not going to even say much. I didn't know anything about her. And like I told you, Ben, I still have when I was watching this with my wife, I just kept seeing that image of her in the textbook. She was speaking at a gathering, and then it just had a poster of, you know, Shirley Chisholm for president. And then that chapter was done. Like, it went into something else. And I never really heard anything else about her until Hillary Clinton was trying to do her campaign, and that name came up a few times, and then of course with Kamala Harris, that name came up again, but on certain outlets. But it was just, yeah, I give it a 3. I sometimes I was a little lost with the accent because the accent would come and go, but I don't know if that was just how she spoke.
It was
But
very accurate.
Oh, okay, gotcha, cool. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe Regina, kind of slipped that in. I made a little mistake every now and then, but I was also kind of upset that I didn't see how big her booty was because I was hoping that maybe they would get an image in her dress. A little upset about that. So sorry guys, I couldn't keep it straight that long. Yeah. So
It's at the 9th hour.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
So for me, I felt like it was.
Hang on before you go, because we gave it a 3. But did you, before tonight's show, did you?
It was
before you started, were you at a 3, stayed at a 3, or were you high? In other words, did we sway you at all during this?
No, I was. It was about a 3. It was
Okay.
a 3 when I went into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, y'all definitely changed my perspective because it was a 5 for me because I went into it.
Sucker.
For me, I knew this was not a backstory. In the description, it says this is about her presidential campaign, so I wasn't looking for it. Hey, how many crickets you got over there?
Not a 5.
But yeah, I wasn't expecting to get a complete backstory, but I do think the sisters that were involved, you didn't get a lot there. You didn't get the debates. You didn't get, I think, a lot more about even this period, because obviously it was about this period, and you didn't get a lot about that. So at the end, they did say she died at 80. We already talked about it. She divorced Conrad in 1977, married Arthur, and she forgave Ron Dellums, and it was really immediate. And she was also a Christian, which I didn't know that part of it either. But she made sure that, yes, in this moment we're all pissed off, we're all crying, we're all upset, but I need to forgive him. And really, for her to be able to move on in the rest of her life, if she would have held on to that, who knows how bitter or angry she would have been. So I'm gonna bring it down to a 4. It's definitely not a 5 because there are things left out. But I'm gonna bring it down to a 4. I think Regina King did a hell of a job. You didn't know that was Regina King. You knew, you just watched it, and that was Shirley Chisholm, and she did a hell of a job. She's been acting for so long that
I have to say, I was so fixated on that tooth that was shifted.
Yeah, me too.
Slightly
Which
to
that
the
was
left.
accurate too.
I was like, damn,
that sure was accurate.
I'm captivated by this mouth, not for those reasons, but it was just that the tooth was like just shifted. I was just like,
Deja was just looking down like,
what?
Okay. So our average on our mic rating, we started at a 3.5 average, and we ended up at a 3.5 average. Okay. On the mic rating. So this was one I think we swayed. The only person that really got swayed in it was Ben.
Yeah,
a
5. What?
For what it was supposed to be, what they said it was going to be.
Yeah,
I rolled with it. All right, what's coming up tomorrow on the end of the bench?
I'll be on the end of the bench tomorrow talking. Hey man, it's gonna be a whole lot of crunching tonight, Jack.
Wow.
Now, well, I am going. You know what? Something I just, and Wilkes, thank you, Wilkes, because you said it's in there. One of the things I am going to talk about is how this board of directors has been busted up at Tennessee State University, and that is the first brick in what could be a horrible situation in defunding and dismantling the entire HBCU universe, because we continue to not vote. We continue to let the Ice Cubes, the Phil, or can't think of his name, Phil, he down there in Houston, on the African diaspora channel, other people make us focus on what we didn't get from the Democratic Party, as if the Republican Party is making tons of promises. So I am going. That's one thing that I'm gonna talk about, and then tune in for some more stuff because I don't know.
That's only the best ones. All right, Queens
I
and
hope
King.
you're right.
Yeah, tomorrow, Soft and Sensitive Part 2, with special guest host Jeff Gilliard and Doc Toya Gilliard of This Dope Cooking Show and the Perspective Podcast, respectively. Again, we did Part 1 last month. We're doing Part 2 this month. And now that we watched this movie, we're going to put Conrad Chisholm as one of the topics.
Make sure you get a graphic and upload them on there.
No kidding.
Do a side by side.
May him in the kitchen Thursday.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man,
Soft and Sensitive Part 2. Part 1 was fantastic. So I expect this to be pretty dope.
Yeah, and This Dope Cooking Show will be at 5:30 right before.
Let's go, Dope Cooking Show. Let's go, baby. I'm all with it.
He said he on the grill this week, so make sure to tune in.
Nice.
And I broke my watch.
Big special appearance on the show. Hey,
now one thing, A-Trap, you gotta have to do in the near future, because we all watching with our wives, or soon to be wives, and you ain't got one yet, so you gotta work on that.
You gotta come back to Texas, man. He
Yes,
said his wife in Texas.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he said his wife in Texas. You gotta come on back.
Hey, but you definitely watch it different with your wife. You definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
And they gotta ask you questions about the movie. And it's your first time seeing it too.
Oh yeah, no, Kelly will tell you. She is all about like, oh, I never heard of this.
You can hear who's been married the longest.
This is my first time watching that. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and close this out. A-Trap. We got Freak Neat next week. The wildest party never.
Nick, and not
told.
Freak.
Freak the Leak. What? Oh, Freak the Leak. Oh,
Nick. Yeah, it is. Nick.
Nick.
Now next week, I'll make sure that I'm not ruining the Roku contract. I don't want no issues. I don't want people saying I'm off the
I heard
chain.
it's well done. I haven't watched it.
Okay.
It looks like it.
I heard it was.
It looks like it's done well done. Some people gonna be upset.
Someone who went into it saying, "Man, this is some trash," and when they walked out of it, they were like, "Oh man, it was well done." They still didn't like it, but it was like it was well done.
I've heard people say it didn't give the rawness of it. It's on Hulu. I mean, it's ain't on HBO. Like, they ain't gonna be showing everything.
Right. As Gator said in Jungle Fever, thank God Jesus and for more white people, it ain't on what HBO. There was some debauchery going on.
I smoked the VCR, mama. That what you want to hear?
I'm telling you what. With that being said, it's the first of the month. The rent is paid, so y'all know what that means. If I owe you some, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God. God.
Him
And as Puff Daddy boyfriend would say, don't get swallowed.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.